Welcome, everybody, to this week's show. We have a very, very special guest with us from the United States of America. We have Comron from GTI Card Supply. Welcome to the show.
Everyone. Thank you for having me.
How you doing today?
Doing pretty good. Just trying to stay indoors today. It's a little bit hot here in Snohomish, Washington. The heat's coming up, so summer's coming up.
I'm really jealous, man. We're like in the middle of winter here. It's just, that like freezing time where it sort of gets to your bones.
I know
We're
it.
in that
Yeah,
space, man.
Yeah. We're opposite.
We're actually planning to go north for a little bit of a cold reprieve pretty soon.
Okay, nice.
Yeah. Alrighty, man. So talk to us about yourself. Tell us about what you've been doing. And then my favorite question that I love to ask people is your earliest hobby memory. So it sort of just like eases into like where you're at in the hobby and
so I grew up, I'm born 1984. So I grew up in the kind of 90s watching Jordan. Jordan was a big part of my basketball experience with my uncle. I had an uncle and he was a Blazer fan. And at that time, I was trying to be a Blazer fan with him as a young 6, 7-year-old watching the games. But every time I saw Jordan, it was different, And so I would watch Jordan get excited. He was into cards, and so we'd have to go buy him his stuff at the Quickie Mart. He'd give us like a 20, and we'd go buy him whatever he had on the list at that time. Me and my cousin, his son, would run over and we'd get a couple sprites, and then always there would be a pack of cards involved every single time. And so we get the packs of cards, and at that time we're talking like hoops, skybox, and we're talking like 89 to 93, about that time frame, where we would just rip $2-3 packs. Nothing hobby, nothing exciting coming out, complete junk wax, but complete excitement with the whole candy, Sprite, and a pack of cards. And at that time, if you got Jordan, it was cool, but if you got somebody else, it was pretty cool too.
Yeah.
Like Shaq's rookie was part of that experience. And so that Topps gold, you could get the gold foil Shaq rookie out of Topps. Like at that time, that was like a $50 card. Maybe. I don't know. I'm just, whatever. But I don't think I ever pulled that one. But my uncle sure had it. He had gone and bought it. And he would always brag about his collection, which in today's market's worthless. It's worthless. It's worth nothing. None of this stuff is worth anything.
But bragging to kids in itself is like a pretty funny concept, isn't it?
He was very competitive. He'd beat us at Monopoly. He'd get excited when he won. We'd go shoot hoops in the street, and we'd do like horse, and he'd try to win that. So I was brought up, we'd spend the weekends over at my uncle. Vincent was his name. We'd go to his house, and it was good times. He got me into basketball and all that. And the day that the Blazers lost to the Bulls in that, it was the finals, isn't it? He was pretty broken, broken man. Because that was pretty tough. But
that's a very tough loss to that team, definitely.
Yeah, that was pretty sad. Yeah, but that was kind of how I was raised in it. And then I got out of it, for a long time. I went to the military and such, and that when I got in the military, it was LeBron's rookie year. And I always think like if I was in the hobby at that time, buying hobby packs and stuff would have been cool. But I didn't get back into it until Lillard came on the scene, Damian Lillard.
Yeah.
And when I saw Damian Lillard kind of come back into basketball, I started getting some of his cards and stuff. And most of that time was spent in, I was mostly in China after about 2013, 14. And in China, the card market is quite cool. You can get some good deals on their secondary market.
So, all right, I got a couple of follow-up questions here. Do the military guys watch NBA? Do they have it on the TV? And is there sort of like
AFN.
the basketball?
Yeah, there's a network called AFN. And so when I was in the military, I was in Korea, 10 years in Korea. And I was really into the sports and stuff, watching all the games. I didn't really listen to cards at that time. I missed kind of the golden era of those were some good packs to have at that time. And at the commissary, they were all for sale. I remember seeing them like $150, $200, for like hobby boxes and stuff. They would have them all for us at the commissary.
That's kind of cool, actually. They'll do that for you guys.
Yeah. I bet even today they have a lot of that going on too, at the military bases.
Yeah. And then my follow-up question is about China. So, like, one of my fears buying on eBay in China is like, is it fake? Is it real? Like, where am I at with all that sort of stuff? if you've lived in China, what's your perspective and experience with all that type of stuff?
I think
Yeah.
big ticket cards are scary regardless. Like if you're buying something big ticket, and for me, big ticket means like three, four, $500 and up, like
Do you
those
mean
type of
like no matter
cards.
what country you're in, there's that risk
Yeah,
there? Yeah.
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 I've seen them. I've seen these cards, and even the grading aspect of being able to manipulate a grading slab is kind of scary too. But if you're buying like I don't know, this type of stuff, numbered
Yeah.
Lillards. Like I have hundreds of numbered Lillards. This is to 85. If I'm buying this, no one's faking this stuff, and there's not much of a risk. So a lot of that stuff you see on eBay, the shipping will be kind of high. But like, let's say you have a My House Lillard numbered, like that's a $20-$30 card regardless,
Yeah.
and it's coming from China. Yeah, bring it. I'll take it all
Yeah.
day, no problem.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, actually. Alrighty. So then talk about how you got to where you are now. So you're doing this full time, aren't you?
Right now, I'm a full-time running my company.
Yeah, great.
It's a lot of work. Yeah.
Yeah, tell us about your company. Tell us about the genesis and
Yeah. I
how
have
you
a
got here.
realtor's license
Yeah.
actually, and I was trying to manage real estate and this at the same time, and I just threw the real estate license under the rug, and it just not enough time. This is a lot of work, and that I say that because right now I'm doing my own shipping. I have some helpers that I have when I go out of town that keep the ship running,
Yeah.
but when I'm in town, yeah, I manage all my orders on my own. I answer the phone. A lot of people actually call. You'd be surprised. A lot of people call and ask questions, and
Yeah.
I'm there. And the DMs, I'm doing all the DMs, and so that aspect of the job alone is quite a bit.
Yeah.
And then the advertising part of it, we do a lot of the advertising and the card shows, and we're getting into the events and stuff. And so I was in China. I'm actually educated with 3 master degrees. I have 3 master's degrees.
Wow.
Yeah, and I was an educator for a long time, and I was manager, kind of like I guess you would say not vice principal, but like a manager at a school of many teachers, and I kind of gave up that career because I was seeing a lot of these top loaders, like all these cards I was buying in China, they were coming in these like really horrid looking top loaders. Just I was looking at the glue patterns and thinking like, man, why this is bad. This is bad quality. And my wife currently, at that time she was my girlfriend, but currently my wife, uh, I told her because she was kind of involved in being able to check up on manufacturing and stuff, and she's kind of that type of girl. She's a go-getter, and we took a couple drives down to the factories, have a look, see what's going on. And we learned a lot. We slowly started learning a lot. And in China, we built our brand GTI, and I did breaking live streaming on TikTok. Their TikTok, which is called Douyin. It's called Douyin, and this is TikTok in China where it started. And we did really well. We had a great fan base. Like I think it's like 20,000 or something. I speak Chinese, wow. So I was speaking Chinese the whole time.
Okay.
And me and my wife are sitting there just clowning around speaking Chinese, and we started manufacturing our branded supplies. And that's where we came and we decided, let's put an inner sleeve in this mag because the card's moving around a little too much and it just makes sense. And so we cut the mold. We had to cut a mold for that, and they get expensive. Each mold we have to pay for. And we're in 1, 2, 3. We're in our 4th mold, about to do our 5th and 6th.
Okay.
So this is starting to add up, all these molds. But yeah, we rolled with it, and I quit teaching. The salary was great, man. I was doing good with the salary. If anybody out there, if you're looking for a good salary and you like teaching and you like kids and you like polite people, go to China and teach English. You'll have a blast. You'll have a blast.
Interesting.
And you'll make and if you're good at it and you stay in the grind, I did it for like 10 years. Just the salary was going up. So I let that salary go to get a much less salary at that time, which was fine. And then we took a trip to the States and went to Southern California, and I just wholesaled like, I don't know, $10,000-$15,000 worth of stuff and went knocking on all the card shop doors. It's quite naive at that time because that's not how it works these days. You don't knock on the doors of the card shops. They're all connected with fanatics at this point. So it's that's kind of that's out the window. A lot of this industry is breaking online sales, this type of stuff, vendors 100%. At card shows. Yeah. So we've found our wholesale how it should be found, and we're doing pretty good at that. It's still a lot of work to do, but the ambition of like working through GTS, which is a distribution company here in America. It's called GTS. You know, they literally told me magnetic one touches aren't popular. People don't like them anymore, and that's all because they're already connected with Ultra Pro and such. So, anyways, that's kind of how we got started, and now me and my wife kind of have to separate. She's in China right now, helping the manufacturing side of things.
Wow.
Yeah, and we're developing some new product and stuff. So she has to be over there. I'll go over there this winter. We kind of do like this now. And we're trying to really set up a lot of distribution with the other countries.
How many weeks a year would you be with your wife then?
About 8 months out of the year. About
Okay.
4 months out of the year separated. Probably something like that split.
Okay. That's dedication to the cause, man.
Yeah. We're making sure. We're trying to. It's kind of like our child, and it's just we've seen it grow over the years. I'd say we've got this about 3 years in. 1 year in China, 2 years here.
Yeah.
And if you look at the numbers, and I'm doing all the numbers and stuff, man, the growth is incredible. But at the same time, I don't take any loans. I don't take any capital investment. A lot of these companies in our industry are taking some heavy handouts to get things going.
Yeah.
I just sometimes I think at night, it's like, man, if I had a good 400 or 500K to sit there and just boost this thing, kind of like a Instagram boost you press.
Yeah.
Which I don't do. I don't do this either. Like I've done it once or twice, but it's not my cup of tea. But if you keep boosting it and stuff, I'm curious where I could get my company with all that stuff. But I enjoy the hustle without it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think that sort of capital investment and the boosting stuff, I feel like I'm definitely not the person to give you business advice in that sense, but I feel like you really need to actually get someone to tell you, like, if you make this much investment, you'll get to here. You know what I mean? Like, there is some sort of sweet spot in all of that. Like, I think grinding without it, man, like, it's admirable, but at the same time, like...
It's tough. And honestly, the other thing is...
But I just feel like it's not the way the world works these days. Like, with Instagram, It's like, I feel like you almost have to boost your post, or YouTube, the same thing with your videos. It's like, if you don't put in that, like, whatever it is, $20, $50, like, the input and output you get, it's just not the same.
I know it.
Yeah.
I know it.
Yeah.
I've slipped with a couple of videos, especially on TikTok, but it's usually when I bash PSA or something like that.
Yeah.
People love that, because it's the controversy. Yeah. People like to
or see a scam in the hobby. That's the other one. That's
something.
Easy.
That's why you see so much of that stuff, anyways.
Yeah.
But right. I mean, So that's kind of how we started.
Okay, so talk to us, because the thing how I found your product was the magnetics with the penny sleeves. Can you please talk to us about that? Because for me, that's just like common sense genius. That's what I would call that.
Yeah, so ProMold is a brand that's been around forever, and they're a great brand, and they've been doing this for a long time. And when I told my wife, I knew about ProMold. I've always known about ProMold. And
it's got the kangaroo on the front, isn't it?
Yeah. I got a whole bunch of their product in my office. I'm constantly researching and playing with other people's stuff.
Yeah.
Any card supply brand, I have a rack full of their stuff right here, right next to me. And I'm constantly keeping an eye out. That's my job as an owner. But yeah, Kangaroo, they got their issues. We got our issues. One of their issues, and I hate to say it, is it says made in America. And it's funny how things, when they say they're made in America, the sleeves, when you got an inner sleeve, the inner sleeves are not made in America. They're being shipped over from China, their inner sleeves. That's number one. And their inner sleeve clarity is a huge issue. A lot of people are having issues with the ProMold inner sleeves. They're a little bit too glossy. They're not clear enough. Okay, so that's one thing. There's some other... Yeah.
I stopped using them because, the little feet that sort of click into the mold at the bottom, they were having a lot of extra and loose plastic on that. So you'd have to take it apart and you have to try and peel that away. And then sometimes it would crumble, and then it's like plastic on your hands, plastic on your desk. Maybe some would get into the One Touch. That's That's actually what made me look around, and that's how I found your product. So that's an interesting little aside. Yeah.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about when you put it in and it kind of doesn't. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. Sometimes it'll break off that little nook. They don't put another thing I think that's really important with these things. These things scratch. They scratch so easy. So we do put mag bags. Recommend to put tight fit mag bags around them.
We are going to interrupt Comron to go for a break, and when we go to a break, we are going to thank our sponsor, Fast Break Trading Cards. Go to fastbreaktradingcards.com for all of your sports trading cards needs. Tops, basketball, football, baseball, soccer, Formula One, tennis, UFC, WWE, Fanatics, authentic memorabilia, dealer, TCG, Disney Lorcana, Pokemon, One Piece, Star Wars. Now, huge announcement for the guys at Fast Break Trading Cards. They are the direct sponsoring partner of the Collect Fest. Go to collectfest.com.au. When you go to the checkout, use the promo code TOPS20 and you will get 20% off your tickets. That is spelled TOPPS 20. Now they have another huge announcement. Leonard Copeland will be at the Fast Break Trading Cards table at the Collect Fest on the Saturday, doing pack battles, having some photographs, doing some signatures. Bring along your Leonard Copeland memorabilia. He will sign that for you. Thank you so much to the lads at Fast Break Trading Cards. Okay, we're about to rejoin the conversation, and Comron was discussing managing scratches on the outside of your card protectables.
The thing about the scratching is when you have a new product, All Touch is doing this now. There's a couple other brands in the industry that are putting that film that you can peel off.
Yeah.
Right. The removable film on this type of plastic is a must if it's new. So if you get something in the package and you're not peeling that off, I think that's a big blunder by a company if they're not putting that on. We do it with all our mags except the metallic colors, because the way the metallic is printed on, it can't allow for that film to go on. So that's something right. I'm working with my manufacturer with. Yeah. But yeah, we working with the manufacturers is pretty key, to make sure you're going to lose some, you're going to win some. You can't fight with them. You can't threaten your manufacturer. You have to have a good relationship with your manufacturer and understand that things happen and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, it's, so getting that inner sleeve in there. See, with ours, we put 2 inner sleeves in the middle so when you open it, you have these 2 inner sleeves, and people are like, why do you put 2 inner sleeves?
Yeah, why do you do that?
Yeah, the thing about it is here, I'll get one for you. It's just right here, the new one. These are all new mags right here. So let's just, for example, this is our crystal blue right here. So when you open this and you got that film right here, you pull off that film.
Yeah.
And then inside you got your 2 inner sleeves. The thing about it is when you're cutting an inner sleeve to precision to get into here, not every inner sleeve is going to be exactly the same. There's absolutely no way that a manufacturer can get down to the 0.05 millimeter, whatever it is, right? So that's one thing. We do pretty good. Our inner sleeves are slick. The thing about the inner sleeve is when you close it, if it creates a wrinkle, that's a no-go. And a lot of these other brands with inner sleeves, there's too much wrinkling with the inner sleeve. I don't want to look at a wrinkled card with an inner sleeve.
Yeah.
So you have to have the right size. Yeah. You have to have the right clarity. Like if I take this inner sleeve and I put it in the test, I open this up, right? And I take this piece of plastic and I put it to see the clarity of our inner sleeve.
Yeah.
We're number one. We have the best clarity in this industry, hands down. Number one. So I'm even better than PSA. Have you ever opened a PSA slab and it has a piece of plastic on the front or back?
Yeah.
Yeah, the clarity of that's a no bueno. That's much worse than ours. So I'm very proud of our clarity, the fact that it doesn't wrinkle. And we give 2 because sometimes, like I said, they're not the same size. Or sometimes, let's say you open this and let's say your fingernail scratches against it and there's like there's something that bothers you. Why not have 2? Our manufacturer hates us that we do this. They hate it because it's a lot of work. Each one of these is manually people are putting in inner sleeve. And we're manufacturing at a high clip right now. It's not just, a couple boxes. We do quite a bit of these boxes. So it's just like a nonstop process of taking this and putting it and it's tough, man. It's a lot of work. I've seen it.
I'm never going to complain about my job again. It's like, I can never do something like that.
It's insane. It's the amount of work that goes into making this product. And so people are like, oh man, you should do this. You should do that. You should scale. Scalability has to come slow. If you rush a scalability, this product's just going to be trashed like everybody else.
Yeah.
So I'm not worried about scalability and trying to, you should work with this company or that company. I have a limit.
Yeah.
I'm right now at my manufacturing capacity.
Yeah.
If I want to push and double that, I have to sit and have a chat with my manufacturer to open up a new little corner in there. I got to have, it takes time, man.
So I'm actually just sitting here, just like really enjoying this like conversation piece, because I actually wanted to know a little bit more about your personality, and I feel like you've just like encapsulated that perfectly. Because it's like,
Yeah.
for you, I think for you to come up with this product, clearly you've got an attention to detail, but I think also too you must have had a passion for it, and like for
Yeah.
me, it's all just like coming out right now. That's awesome. All right,
Yeah.
let's talk about the next 12 months. What's happening for GTI?
Yeah, I got a list. I
Coming up.
made a list of things that
Yeah.
we're doing. So I'll just break it down. What are we doing? Okay. So we are making a 180 PT mag with inner sleeve. And this will be flexible, much like our other mags. So it's going to be 155 to 180 PT cards.
Yeah.
And what I'm noticing is that a lot of cards fall in this range. A lot. More than I thought. So a lot of baseball cards, hockey cards, some of those patches, they're thick.
Yeah.
Thick. And so we'll be, along with ProMold, the only company in the industry that does inner sleeve for that size.
So do you work with ProMold, or are you directly competing with them?
No, competing with them, all the way, and sharing the space. And our mold is different than theirs. The size is smaller. Ours is a smaller product.
Yeah.
And the movement inside is different. The sleeve is different. A lot of differences. But I do respect their product.
Yeah.
I have to respect them because they designed the idea, the concept, and their product works. It's not a bad product. I just feel that it needed a few adjustments, and we did it our way. They're doing it their way. But if there is no inner sleeve in a mag, I just can't respect it the same way.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. Yeah.
So I just picked up some of your 130s, actually from Darren from the Cartel, which is how we were introduced.
He just ordered another case from us. It's in the ocean probably.
Yeah. Darren's a really, really great guy.
Awesome
actually.
guy. Yeah, he's awesome.
So can you talk to us a little bit about the importance of having an inner sleeve, for example, for a 130 point card? Because I think for me, like a 30 point card, like you can just, in the old one touches, you could just put a penny sleeve over the top, and you could sort of get away with it. Whereas I feel like for me, the 130, it's a little bit different, because otherwise you would get normally a lot more movement, particularly for the sort of the top and bottom side. So just talk to us about that a little bit, because I think that's important.
Sure. The sleeve over, I'll just make one point. Watch this. This is very interesting. The clarity of a sleeve when there's two layers, like the visibility, if you take 2 layers of plastic and put it over the card, you're looking through 2 layers of plastic.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
But if you take 1 layer of plastic and look over the card, you're going to have a much more clear vision. Yeah. So that's the thing. That's
I've
the one thing.
I've triggered you now, haven't I? Yeah.
Yeah. That's the one thing. No, it's okay. It's just 2 layers of plastic. Logically, it's not the answer. But for 130 point, a lot of those 130s are cut incorrectly. So I'll first make that a point. So what happens is the rattling factor becomes pretty severe.
Yeah.
Like what I'm saying is like, because when those chunky cards get cut, sometimes they're not going to be exactly the same size as the 35. They don't get cut as nice.
Yeah.
So there's going to be more movement. And then also a lot of those patches are going to be auto patches and stuff like that. A lot of the 130s. Like I think I have a Lillard right here. Yeah. And so what that's going to do is that's going to, I have a feeling, and I don't have the scientific stuff to back it up. And I wish I had the capital to get into that kind of space. But the auto shouldn't be pressed directly against the plastic. I think that if there's slight movement and you have an autograph that's kind of vibrating in there, I don't see that being a good thing for the card at all.
Oh, undoubtedly that would damage the surface of the card.
Yeah. And then also what I always say is with the inner sleeve, you can see, and probably here it's not the best, but it kind of floats in there. So nothing's touching any corners. And if it's a true 130, these 130s, man, what's cool is you could switch out the color for the front. So you can make your 130 any of our 10 colors, which is kind of cool too.
Okay.
But as far as like having a sleeve and not having a sleeve, if I can have my card not move inside and be in a, like what BGS does, puts it in a sleeve and then encapsulates it.
Yeah.
If it was a perfect world, BGS would be king, not PSA. I tell you that right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So, anything else you want to talk about for the next 12 months, or do you want to move on
Yeah,
from
yeah,
that?
we got a
Yeah.
lot. I mean,
Yeah.
so we're also doing a 5x7 with inner sleeve. So a lot of those box topper downtowns and stuff. I have a gold Lillard. It's it's out of tin and it's like 5x7,
Yeah.
and I have nothing to put it in. So yeah, I'm making a mag with inner sleeve for 5x7.
What's the
So that
demand for a 5x7 card, though?
I got a lot of local collectors that are into like baseball and stuff, and they got a lot of these
Oh,
five
okay.
by
So
seven
it's
like
more in baseball than
cards.
basketball, because I feel like I haven't seen any of those in basketball since
Not
what,
so
17,
much. The
18?
whole
Yeah.
downtown craze came with those box toppers. They're not
Yeah.
worth much,
Yeah.
but if I can sell these mags and keep it at a price point of around $7, $8, $9 or something,
Yeah.
I think that it's going to be quite popular for like people to use for some of their
Displaying your own
fun
stuff as like
cards.
artwork.
Yeah,
Yeah, that makes sense.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we're doing that as well.
Yeah.
We're coming out with a few new colors this winter as well, and then the events that we're doing, like I'm getting crazy with these events, not in the hobby. Like I don't think that as a company I should only be trying to make friends within the hobby. For example, like calling up PSA and saying, let's do a collab. No, I don't want to do a collab with PSA because I don't really respect the company. So with my company, I'd rather align myself with people like Boys and Girls Club,
Yeah, I saw you
with
doing the sponsorship of that.
yeah,
Yeah.
so we're gonna
Yeah.
work with them all summer for like shooting hoops. I'm having a 3-point contest in the park where we're giving away cash prizes and all this type of stuff. And
Yeah.
and this is all the stuff that PSA would really get into, but maybe not for all the reasons that I'm getting into it. Like I'm getting into it a lot of because that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
I was in education for so long. I'm good with kids. I like it. I enjoy it.
Yeah.
And I think that as a company, like just doing community type events and stuff, it's quite nice. It's quite fun.
Yeah, so I think if Adam was here, he would say that's just like the grassroots part, and like how you growing the next generation of the hobby. And I feel like that's a really sort of clever way of doing it, isn't it? Because you're,
Yeah.
yeah, giving back
Yeah,
to the
for the 3-point
community. Yeah.
contest, we're gonna have local breakers and local card shops that I work with. They're gonna give away like wax and stuff. So
Oh,
we'll have a
right. Okay,
breaking
so it's
table.
it's not just you who's doing it. It's like you're organizing sort of a
I'm
whole
gonna have
bunch of people.
sponsorships. I'm gonna
Yeah.
have music. I'm gonna have a DJ. I'm gonna have watermelon hot dogs,
Yeah.
cash, jerseys. I mean, it's gonna be a card show with more focus on the sports.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, so we're gonna have fun with that, and then also we're gonna be doing a lot of other shows this summer. This summer I'm already booked out for all the shows, and then when my wife comes in the fall, we're getting in the car and we're gonna go to Texas, Arizona, and a couple other places we haven't really been. And I think like the National, for example, this year, I don't have a table. I applied for one, they didn't have room for me. I guess I don't know how that works. I think there's a lot of politics involved now with these companies. Ultra Pro, BCW, they're well connected and they have priority with some of these things. Like there's a lot of people probably that see my company and are kind of like cringing because they see that, wait a minute, this is a really good product, but what? It's not Ultra Pro, it's not BCW. How can this be? You know, it's frustrating for
Yeah,
people
yeah.
who have been supporting these other brands.
Yeah.
So as a new brand, me trying to roll up to the scene, sometimes I'm not welcome.
Yeah,
To
yeah.
be honest, I can feel it, which is fine.
I mean, BCW is like heavily sort of invested in that space, aren't they? And Ultra Pro, like they got so big that you couldn't buy their stock for a while. But
Yeah,
you
I mean
just,
they're 30 years in the game.
yeah,
This is serious stuff. And
yeah,
when you go out to the manufacturers out there in China, I mean, they're not just one factory; they have multiple factories where they're manufacturing
yeah,
different grades of quality. It's a logistic nightmare. You wouldn't imagine what you're seeing.
yeah,
And so, with all that said, in a logistics nightmare, quality takes a big hit, a massive hit when you're in a logistics nightmare.
yeah,
It's hard to maintain good quality. Money is great, but as far as being known as like a quality brand, which we're focusing on,
yeah,
you have to give up that expansion and rapid expand. You have to slowly grind and make sure things are done right.
yeah,
So that's where we're going in the next 12 months, is making
yeah.
sure that as we expand, I don't stop answering people's like DMs right away. I don't, when I pack things, I pack a certain way too. I'm very like careful with this stuff.
I
So when
can
you
tell
open
your
it,
attention to detail is like X level here. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah, really making sure that otherwise what am I going to do? Compete with Ultra Pro with Ultra Pro stamped GTI? That's what other companies do. They take the mold, they go to the factory, say, put our logo on the back.
Yeah.
Let's make it.
Yeah.
And they're just making the same thing.
Yeah.
That's not what we do. Every single piece of plastic that I have, every like TCG, we have TCG sleeves, right? I carefully made sure I had the exact size that I wanted for my company.
Yeah.
I didn't just go and Alibaba and say, oh, I want this one. Let me get 100 cases of that and start wholesaling it.
Yeah.
You can't. BCW and Ultra Pro, all that generic stuff that they're pumping out, they've got container after container of that stuff getting shipped over here, and that's why the price is so cheap.
Yeah. Alrighty, we are going to take another break, and we are going to hear from our sponsor, US Sports Cards Australia. Thank you so much for your ongoing support. Go to ussportscardsaustralia.com.au, where there you can find sealed product, breaks, memorabilia, collectible protection, and Ross's pet project, which is called ComCA. If you're unaware of what ComCA is, it is a card consignment services. You send all of your cards to Ross. He will list them onto the page for you, sell them off, put the cash back into your account. It is as simple as that. For all of our listeners, you have a very, very special offer at the moment. On your submission form, write anywhere "you can't comp this" and you'll get a free submission. Now, Ross has updated me on this. This week, we had a listener who submitted 600 card submission for Ross to go through. The normal price is 6 cents per card for a tidy little saving for our dedicated listener base. Thank you so much for everybody at US Sports Cards Australia. Okay, we are back and we are going to hear from Comron, and he's going to discuss the difficulties managing different sized businesses in a very competitive marketplace.
It's a different animal. And so
that's right. It's a different ballgame, 100%.
It's a different
It's
ballgame.
almost like you're playing a different sport, really, isn't it? Because and also, I mean, look, and correct me if I'm wrong here, I feel like you're doing magnetics, penny sleeves. Do you even do top loaders?
Yeah, we have the best top loaders
I should know this,
in the world.
Really? Yeah.
We have the best top loaders in the world. I'm not even joking. I hate to say it like
I will humor you on this one. You tell me why your top loaders are the best in the world. Yeah.
So have you seen Fanatics top loaders? So Fanatics just came out with top loaders.
Yeah. I use BCW top loaders. Yeah.
Yeah, even BCW. So the way that our top loaders are is the whole border is just one piece. And some of these other companies are starting to adapt to this. They're using this. But a lot of the top loaders that you see, they're going to be 3 pieces that are glued together, the border of it. And it's going to leave a lot of glue residue. And it's going to have these sharp edges that aren't cut right. And it's not going to be a smooth one-piece border. So that's one thing. A lot of them have too much dust and shards of plastic in them as well. So that's another thing that you're going to see.
Yeah.
And then the clarity and all the issues.
Is that a quality like grading thing? You were talking before about like the sliding scale, because I definitely noticed some have got more off-cuts of plastic in it than others. Yeah.
So there's different cities of manufacturing in China. And depending on the city, I'll tell you right away what type of grade you're dealing with. I mean, that's how it is. Yeah. I've been in China long enough to know the game, And so some companies, they have premium top loaders and they have regular top loaders and they have wholesale top loaders. Like it's insane. It's insane that from one brand, for example, Ultra Pro. I've opened like multiple Ultra Pro packs for research, like a lot. And every time it's something new. What? That's weird. Why am I opening something and every time it's a new surprise happening?
That's why I stopped using Ultra Pro, because it was very inconsistent. Yeah,
inconsistent.
I think BCW is a bit more consistent for me. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, the consistency comes with the growth. If the growth is so heavy and the manufacturer reaches their limit, I have to go to a new manufacturer. And then that manufacturer is not going to be up to par with the previous manufacturer. And pretty soon you're in 3, 4, 5, 6 different factories making the same product. It's like having a bottle of Coke in 10 different countries. Every country's Coke tastes different.
Yeah, definitely. Mexico Coke, delicious.
Delicious. Yeah. I agree. Yeah. So our top loaders, I mean, sure, we've had packs where you open and it's like, wait a minute, this isn't up to standard. Nothing's 100%. But man, when I get my cases of top loaders in and I open that fresh case and I start, cutting them and checking and making sure everything's ready for selling to people, the collectors, every time I'm like, man, this is pretty good, and sometimes we've caught the manufacturing turn back our cases. They redo them. We have to do this sometimes.
Yeah.
This isn't right. Why is it like this?
So your argument of the reason why you have the best is essentially quality control. Is that what you're trying to say?
We're heavy on quality control.
Yeah.
Our manufacturer it takes pride in the top loaders. And guess what? Our price is damn expensive. I pay a lot for my top loaders.
Yeah.
I can't wholesale them. I can't. I don't. I have like 4 or 5 people that wholesale my top loaders. That's it.
Yeah.
And the reason is because people say, "Oh man, do you wholesale top loaders?" And I just say no. Before I'd be like, "Yeah." They'd be like, "What's the price?" I tell them the price. They're like, "What?" But Ultra Pro and BCW, I said, "Well, then that's them. You get what you pay for." Yeah, you get what you pay for. I mean, it's sad to say. So I'm not.
Yeah, it's a tricky one though, isn't it? Because people, they need to get that margin, whatever it's going to be, and as a collector,
I was wholesaling top loaders with like a margin that would just make investors cringe.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, and it's the only thing that I really focus on wholesale is our mags. Yeah. The other stuff, the margins aren't quite there, and so I keep it in house. We do a lot of. It's funny. I always talk about like graded slabs and criticize, but man, do we sell a lot of those tight fit PSA sleeves?
Yeah,
we sell those a lot. I mean, we have good ones. They're top notch. I would say better than cardboard gold, which is a big statement because cardboard gold has some really good PSA sleeves. Ours are right up there or better.
This is my own collecting question now. Has Darren got some of those? Can I get some off him?
I'm not sure. I'm sure he has some. Yeah.
Okay. Because I'm essentially at the moment, I'm using Darren as your middleman.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the shipping is tough. Shipping is tough, man.
Yeah.
Shipping is international orders for a while. We were losing money sending out orders. Yeah. I mean, I've sent to probably 40, 50 countries. Like, I'm not even joking. Any country you name, it's been sent to. It's crazy. And so England and Canada. These are 2 countries I desperately, in the next 12 months, need to find somebody to do a massive wholesale deal to set up a distribution line there.
I'm trying to set you up with Darren as like your distributor in Australia. Have you got someone to distribute for you in Australia?
Darren would be the closest thing.
All right, great. Darren, if you're listening, we need to get this sorted out and get you set up as the distributor.
He's waves from us, but as far as like being able to ship from Australia, because even though Darren's got all the goods in Australia and stuff, like I still get a lot of orders from Australia too.
Yeah.
And everything shipped internationally from America is like it's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard of. Check this out. So if I ship to Vancouver, I'm in Seattle, Washington. If I ship from Seattle to Vancouver, it's more expensive than if I ship from our warehouse in Shenzhen to Vancouver.
Is that because of taxes and tariffs and stuff, or
the USPS, the DHL, all these carriers, UPS? When we ship DHL from China, we get a better rate than when we do from here. So any international order we ship from China.
It makes you just like shake your head when you hear stuff like that, doesn't it?
Yeah, and we do sell locally in the Chinese market as well. We have our fan base there that enjoy our product. So we have shelves in warehouses ready to go for China sales and all international sales, and cases too for wholesale deals and stuff. But as far as like distribution, like I've been approached by a guy in Germany who said, let's get your product to the National in Germany. It's like the biggest show in Germany. And we were about to make a deal, but the shipping and the amount I would invest, I said, look, man, I can't do it right now. It's a big hit, I can't. But do I need distribution? Yeah, something I'll work on.
Yeah. All right. Now, offline, we were chatting about Fanatics becoming this huge behemoth. They're running breaks. They're basically trying to monopolize the market. And you were talking about break groups and then do instant grading with PSA. Can you talk to us about that? Because your perspective was on the negative side, whereas for me, I'm kind of like, that's like an innovative space. Seems like it's a good thing. So talk to us about that. Yep.
So I think it's Backyard Breaks that does this, no?
We don't need to say and promote these guys, do we? Anyway.
Yeah, it's there's a couple of them. I don't think it's just them. But what it is it's there's a lot of inside stuff that we don't know what's going on. And if you're in the breaking space and you're a breaker yourself and you see this other breaking group getting invited and the doors of PSA are opening and stuff. It looks bad because it's kind of like having a birthday party and only inviting one person and not the other kids. So PSA needs to do a better job of not just inviting their chosen ones, right? And so what it does to the collector, that's what it does to the breakers. But what it does to the collector, for example, I have this one buddy I play basketball with on Tuesdays. Ryan is his name. He's a collector, him and his son.
It's not
They buy
Ryan from
directly.
Gemrate, is it?
No.
Okay.
There's a lot of Ryans out there. I got like 10 Ryans on my
There's more than one
phone.
Ryan in America, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
But this guy, I mean, he's buying direct from Panini. That's his hobby. He buys direct. He's a collector. He likes to rip boxes.
He must rip a lot if he's got Panini Direct, though.
Oh, not direct. I'm sorry. When they drop on their website.
Oh, right. Yep.
Right. And so he told me, what's up with PSA? Why is it taking so long to go through this? And the amount of it's taken like 3 months for a card.
Yeah.
Okay. And then it's costing like $25 plus shipping, whatever it is. I don't even know. I've never sent to PSA, not once in my life. And whatever it's costing. And then you got these guys in 1 hour, they break. And then in 1 hour, they're showing it in a slab and screaming obnoxiously and blah. And this isn't your average collector, man. This is it's like a sick cartoon that I'm watching. And the average collector's sitting there like, man, I'm getting screwed. And they're getting like 8s and 9s on their cards. Hands down, nonstop. PSA can't allow people to get this idea that this is a reality. This is a show. It's not real. I put on Instagram today, a PSA 10 Brandon Ingram rookie fractal revolution. The corner is cooked. I cracked it open. The whole corner was cooked. Surface damage everywhere. This card is a PSA 6. You got a 10. I have a feeling that at PSA, they're taking cards and just doing whatever they want to do. Nobody has any control over them. Yeah. The grading industry needs like a police force that says, look, we're going to look at your operation, make sure that you're certified to be a grader. Yeah. Who is certifying PSA to take cards, throw them in a slab and say, this is a 10, this is an 8? Nobody's watching, man.
So again, if Adam was here, he'd be saying now, regulate the hobby. That's like one of his big sort of catchphrases. So he's like, he'll be all aboard with you on this. I'll just like, I won't say I'll push back on you, but I just want to sort of just add some context in here. So I think the first thing is, I wonder if Backyard Breaks or whoever it is actually pays PSA for that privilege. And the reason I say that is because, like, so you're saying, oh, you should invite more friends to the party, but I think really what happens is more people need to pay for the ticket to go to the party if they want that privilege, right?
Yes, good point.
And then,
sir.
You're talking about entertainment. That's exactly what it is, man. I think like
it's entertainment. Yeah.
These people who are breaking, like they're wearing fancy wigs and they're wearing sunglasses and mustaches and they're yelling and screaming. Like that's, I think some people are attracted to that brand of entertainment, and I think it comes down to personality type. Like I feel like you and I in this space are probably like on par. I don't like that type of break experience. Like
no,
that doesn't hit my sort of my
the breakers
heart.
that I wholesale with, we got about 10, 15 breakers we wholesale with. Man, they're all the same type of just real chill communities, very respectful, very fair. Correct. I just love watching, and I'm always when I do my packing, I watch them. So
I think as the large online expansion, I think there's pathways that people have gone down. You know, you can go down this sort of extreme backyard breaks. You can go down sort of, more the middle ground of sort of, some YouTube breakers. And on the right-hand side of the path, you might have your sort of Facebook breakers who build up these communities and more sort of conservative. And, and Layton's is somewhere in between. Look, I think Layton's is pretty good. I do too. I think they break pretty frequently. I think their prices are, look, maybe they're a little bit more expensive, but you know what you're getting with Layton's. And I feel like their breakers are like pretty average dudes who just have been in the hobby for 20 years. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like maybe my heart lies somewhere, in that space, right? Yeah. The next thing you're talking about was grading people's experience level on that. But let's just like hold that Brandon Ingram card for 2 seconds. So he was what, a 16, 17 rookie, wasn't he?
Yeah, something like that.
So
16,
this is
17, 18. I can't remember.
Yeah, so right. That my point being on that is like this is the explosion of like everything that happened around 1819. And so maybe what we're actually talking about here is there's actually a problem with the way that they grade cards
Yeah.
even pre that. Whereas I
Oh
think
yeah.
for me now, the problem is like they've had so much expansion and we know that they've scaled up their operation, to a huge level. And then we were talking with Lane Pierce. He was recently saying that the huge influx of grading at the moment is actually TCG, Pokemon, all that type of stuff.
Yeah. These sports cards are going down.
Sports cards is going down, Pokemon's going up. So it's like, well, how does that impact the grading scene? I think for me, it's like you're talking about the delay in time. So I'm not too sure we're actually seeing a decrease in grading quality. What we're currently being impacted by is like the grading time. But to loop that back to what you're talking about with the Brandon Ingram, this to me actually says this is not actually a current modern grading problem. This is something that's been going on for them like for quite a long time. And
Yeah.
it's inconsistency in grading, right? That's what we're really talking about, isn't it? How can they take a card with a damaged corner and give it a 10? We are going to take a break in the action and just have a short timeout. We currently do not have a third sponsor of the show. If you are listening to this week's show and you think that our approach to the hobby would mesh really well with the perspective of your business, please reach out to us. Reach out to us on socials. You can also send us an email via Gmail, so youcan'tcompthis@gmail.com. Happy to have a chat over the phone, happy to chat via text or email, whatever's best for you. We're always looking for new hobby partnerships. We're going to return to the action now, and Comron continues to break down some of the issues around grading.
Well, Russell, it's BGS was they got their own problems, but they do use an inner sleeve. Their quality of the slab is better. It's a better product. BGS is a better product.
Yeah.
PSA was a joke when it first came out. It literally was a joke. And what has happened is their marketing is so genius, genius.
Yeah.
No better marketing in the world. And so these guys have created this illusion that they are the gold standard. But along with gold standard, if you're the gold standard of something, man, you got to be good with what you're doing. But what I'm seeing is such inconsistency with all the numbering of 100 million plus. Like what I'm talking about is like the recent stuff, like 160 million, I think they're at or whatever. I don't even know. But when I open these slabs, I'm finding something new every time and different from one to another. And it's just, it's wacko, man. It's wacko.
Great. So this is not on the run sheet, but I wanted to talk to you about this because you make a lot of videos on your Instagram about opening up PSA slabs.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that. So
hundreds.
why do you do that? What's your end game?
Yeah, nobody else is looking at this and nobody's talking about it. And to be honest, one thing I want to say is a PSA 10 for that Brandon Ingram, that card is $15.
Yeah.
15. I bought it for $15.
Yeah.
So anybody out there, if you're
that's more about Brandon Ingram than a PSA 10, though.
But even with the new stuff, if you're opening these new packs and you're getting a card and sending it to PSA, hoping for the best, and that's a slippery slope. There's a very good chance that you're not going to make anything from that.
You're more likely to go backwards, 100%.
Yeah. And then PSA, when I crack their slabs, all they're thinking is, hell yeah, it's going to get reslabbed and we're going to make another 25.
Yeah.
Okay, so they want you to crack the slabs. This is part of the plan. And so when I crack these slabs, I'm looking at inner sleeve because
I'm not sure it's part of the plan, but I think it's part of the now reality of what people are doing.
Man. They're recycling cards.
Yeah.
There's like a lot of my cards my Lillards I cracked. Here you go. Look, PSA on the back, right? This was a PSA slab. Not for me, it's not. I don't want to do a PSA slab. I don't want to brand something that I own with a big PSA in the middle. That's another gripe that I have. That's ridiculous to billboard PSA all over my card collection. For what?
I mean, breakers do that on Facebook too. So as soon as they get a good card, they put their sticker on it and outbrand it.
This is what collectors want, right? This is what you want. You want something that's not branded. The card is branded. This is the guy. Yeah. Maybe a Lillard sticker or something. But anyways, the PSA slab, what I open them for is because what I'm noticing is it represents what a mag represents. An enclosed piece of plastic with no inner sleeve. Not acceptable. This is not the right answer. The cards are shaking inside the PSA, right? The cards don't have an inner sleeve inside the PSA slab.
Yeah, so in the current iteration of PSA, though, they are putting sleeves in, aren't they?
Okay, so this is why I'm opening them. When I open them, the sleeves are being found on chrome autographs on the back side because they think that if they're putting the sleeve on the back, it's going to create enough so there's not movement, right? But yet the top of the card is still being pressed up against the plastic.
Yeah.
Now, that's not all the time. Sometimes it's on the front. Sometimes it's on the back. Die-cut cards are just crooked in there. Crooked, man.
Yeah.
They're crooked. And those are just those corners are getting hit.
Yeah.
And so when I'm opening these, man, I'm seeing so much inconsistency that it makes you wonder sometimes. There's a die cut. That's a Crown Royale, no?
Yeah, so this is a card that I literally just got back from grading recently.
Yeah, it's an auto Crown Royale. Does it have a sleeve on the back or the front?
I think the card is actually in the sleeve.
Okay. What's the numbering? 170 million, 180 million by now? Probably 180.
104 million, if I'm reading that correctly.
So that's not too recent, though. When did you get that back?
About a month ago.
Huh. 104 million?
Yep.
Huh. Okay. That's weird. I'm sure they're in like 160 million by now.
Maybe because this has got an autograph on it, because it goes through a different process with an autograph.
Perhaps, yeah, perhaps. Yeah. So anyways, like this sleeve thing, like this Lillard right here, it wasn't in a sleeve. It had no sleeve in it, and the front of it was getting pressed. And check this out, Russell. The warping of cards is like a real thing, right? Cards warp like this. Like
they come manufactured like that. Absolutely.
Yeah. So you're gonna have a bend in a lot of the.
Yeah, they don't grade that bend either.
No, and so, but what happens is when you have a flat piece of plastic and you put the card in, and then you take the top and press against it, the front of the card is like really pressing against that front, right?
Yeah.
And for me, if it's an auto and bling bling type card, there's no way that card should be directly pressing up against the plastic.
Yeah.
There's just no way. Yeah.
I have to ask you this though. After you crack them out, do you send the labels back into
Never.
PSA so they're deregistered?
No.
Are you worried about the population reports, all that type of stuff?
Until PSA worries about me, I'm not going to worry about them. There's no worrying going on over here. None.
Because I think in terms of hobby health, we should probably tell people what you should do after you crack it out. So my understanding is you're supposed to post it back into PSA. Then I
got this one. Yeah.
Then they take it off the register and then adjust the popular report and all that type of stuff.
Until PSA can control their quality, I don't think that they're running to get the mail and get these labels and take care of business. I don't know what PSA is doing, but obviously they're not taking care of the real collectors who are waiting 3 months for their cards. If they're waiting 3 months for a card to get done and getting upcharged for a card worth $400, this type of stuff is happening. This is really happening, right? Yeah. And then they want you to take a label and send it back to them? No thanks, man. No thanks. I'll pass.
No, I don't disagree with what you're saying there, but I'm just more talking about the hobby in general of, what you're supposed to do. But I think also too, I suspect that people have cracked so many slabs that I do. So what I'm trying to get to here is the population number, right? Like I don't know that I use Card Ladder a lot. I like to look at gem rate, but I wonder if these numbers are maybe inaccurate by up to 20%. Because
at least 20%.
I would estimate about 20% of cards would be cracked and either put into like what you're doing or resubbed back into PSA.
A lot of people are gambling with it. You go, you get a 9, you crack it. There's the big ticket cards probably get recycled quite a bit.
Because you can tell on low numbered stuff. It's very easy to tell. There's 10 cards total.
Right.
The population is already 8. Like that some of these have been resubbed.
But let's say the Jaden McDaniels Silver Rookie PSA 9. Yeah. Let's say there's 2,000 of these, right? Let's just say. Yeah. Probably 1,000 of those you might need to take off because they're getting cracked and resubmitted, and it's just kind of going like this and creating that pop count to go.
So I'm saying it's 20%. You're saying it's 50%.
For some of the hot numbers like Jaden McDaniels rookie, these quarterback rookies are no joke, man. They get big time money when they're PSA 10.
Yeah.
And that's
Okay.
why
Sure.
PSA is such king, because the PSA 10 is so elusive. And I hate to say it, but the conspiracy of everything. But what if PSA, just says, tells their guys, look, don't give more nines, don't give tens. The nines are going to cause recracks. We're going to get them resubmitted, and we want nines. Nine is great for our business model because nines recycle. And to get the 10, we'll give a few. This is weird stuff, man, and nobody's watching it and nobody's talking about it.
So
It's
I'm not too
criminal
sure
in a
how many
sense.
of our podcasts you've listened to, but I love conspiracies. I'm always happy to talk conspiracies.
Yeah.
I mean, my follow-up question to that is like, what evidence or what makes you
Money.
what makes you think that? Do you know what I mean?
Money
Yeah.
creates greed,
Yeah.
and the leadership of that company is greed. I'm sorry.
So
That's all I see.
my pushback on that is like, there's a bell curve on the quality control and production, right?
Right.
At mass, how much
Yeah.
cards is being produced, right? So
Right.
there's always going to be a bell curve in terms of like what cards have been produced and how they're
Right.
coming out to the collectors. So I think you will naturally see that less is tens, more are going to be 7, 8, 9s. I don't think that's a conspiracy in itself. Like, I think what is the conspiracy is the inconsistency part. Like, that's the part to me where I'm like,
Yeah. What is the grading
what is
process? I mean,
what is contributing to that inconsistency? Is it that they're employing people that don't know what they're doing? Are they
not
not
paying them enough.
not paying them up? Are they not spending enough time grading them?
Not
Or
not enough
is it
training.
or does it feed into the conspiracy that you were just like touching on, right? So I think that's the part for me. Yeah.
And to be honest, like these cards should probably be scanned and digitally graded. To be honest, the technology's there. Other
Yeah.
companies are doing it. It's such a sad landscape when a company like Tag, who makes a killer product, is
Talk to us
just not.
about tag. Yeah, so my
Well,
follow-up question to that is just
yeah,
say you were the king of the hobby for the day and you got to
yeah,
choose the number one grading company. Who would it be? Yeah.
Tag, and I throw inner sleeve in there and call it a day.
Yeah.
That's
So
it.
what's good about tag?
They probably they have I don't know the details, but they do use a scanning system to grade.
Yeah.
To check on things like corners won't be missed, surface won't be missed. They're using this type of technology to make sure that things are getting graded. Their system looks better. The product is slicker. It looks better. PSA looks silly. It's a silly looking tag. And dude, I could take the PSA tag out. I can get a manufactured fake PSA slab. I can crack a PSA 8 Jordan, take out the real Jordan, take that tag and put in a fake Jordan and sell it on the market as PSA and it's fake and nobody would know.
That's the stuff that scares me, to be honest.
It's scary, man, and it's happening all the time. People act like this is, oh, you're just talking, this isn't happening. Okay. For those type of Jordan, Wayne Gretzky, older vintage, there's cards out there being hustled on people, especially new people in the hobby that are rich and don't know what's going on.
So how do you protect yourself from that? Like, let's just use this as a teaching moment.
Yeah.
So
make the tag so it's not removable. Oh, no, as a collector?
Yeah, so I want to buy a Jordan PSA 8 rookie. Okay, actually no, let me make it a more realistic conversation. I want to buy a PSA 3. I've been saving up my hard-earned money. What do I need to do and check to make sure I'm not going to get grifted here?
Yeah, because let's say you want a PSA 3. Try to buy it in person. When you have your PSA slab, make sure that you see a little PSA at the bottom. Although that's their idea of like protecting the integrity of it, it can be manufactured. I've seen them.
Yeah.
Make sure that the tag isn't like wrinkled, that the tag looks clean enough to where it doesn't look like it was tampered with. Check the side of the slab to make sure there's no like easy way for it to open, like the glue isn't like redone or something.
Yeah.
The infusion of that is done right. Look at the card properly. Like look online and see what a Jordan is supposed to look like to make sure that it's not a fake. Because there's a lot of fakes out there, right? I mean, this is stuff that like I get that it's probably not happening so much, but as a company who is supposed to be the gold standard, the tag should not be removable. This is the silliest thing I've ever seen, is that I could take this tag. This is a ticket right here that I can reuse. What? Embedded in the plastic like tag does, so that if I crack that plastic, it's done. I can't recreate it. That's bottom line. Yeah.
You should be a consultant for PSA.
They need help, man. And their owners out there just playing with cards and going to it. Just I've never seen anything like it, man. I've never seen
Look,
anything like
I'll
it.
go to bat on PSA for this part here. The guy from, did you see the scandal for the owner of BGS?
Probably even worse, right?
He was essentially like money laundering and
Yeah.
ripping off
Sad because they
different
have a good
insurance
product.
companies. Well, actually, for me, like once I read that article, I was kind of like, it actually makes sense. Like that company was rudderless. You could tell that
terrible. Yeah.
They weren't keeping up with the times. They weren't innovating the same way that PSA being actually quite flexible, and you could tell they were
I got something for you. Ready for
pivoting
this?
on the go. Hit me.
BGS needs to come out what's called the BGS Mini. It's the same size as a mag, and this is your graded slab, and the information for the card is written on the back right here, and it's called the BGS Mini.
Okay.
If BGS can come out with a slab that's smaller, sleek, and only focuses on the card with the credentials of the card somewhere where it's not like right in front blasting their do you know how much collectors would go for something like this?
Definitely. Even if it was just like a barcode on the back, you could scan to get the information.
Whatever you want it to be, but it doesn't have to be a big, ugly piece of cheap plastic that's not UV protected. PSA averages about 12 to 15% on their UV protection. Why? What? Why? They're $25. Why am I paying $25 for that? This is insanity, man. Have you seen this Rare Edition? Have you seen Rare Edition?
Talk to me about Rare. Talk to me about that.
Rare Edition is a group in Portland that I've met the owner and seen their operations, and it's a real deal. It's what every company should aspire to be. That's a grading company. Yep. They use Gorilla Glass. Glass.
Is that the one that you cracked this on Instagram and essentially it became shards and you had to peel it off because it was all wrapped up with the glue?
Yeah, I got one right here. I'll show you right here. Rare Edition. Best mag in the market. I got my CJ McCollum. This is my CJ McCollum Next Day Auto. Look at this thing, man.
Yep.
I'll throw it and I'll take a key and I'll scratch it and nothing happens. Now, the problem is that their manufacturing costs are so high that they don't make a lot of money on these things. It's tough. But as far as like ideas and innovation, they hit a home run, man. A secret home run that not too many people know about. I think a lot of people in the hobby know about Rare Edition, but resale value. Come on, PSA resale value is king, right?
Absolutely. I think that's the problem. With all these new companies coming in, that's where they fall down. Even if they've got a good product, the resale, no one trusts the brand.
Yeah, PSA has that brand recognition, and they are king.
We got time for one more question.
What's your question?
Talk to me about the current hobby health. Where do you think the hobby is currently sitting in terms of, is it in a good space? Is it in a bad space? Like, what's going on for collectors out there?
I think the parallel game needs to hit the brakes a little bit. There's a little too many parallels out there for me as a collector. Like, I like numbered cards. That's all I collect is numbered cards.
Yeah,
I like it. But when you have a Prism set with 80 parallels numbered, obnoxious and silly and just it's a little much. It's a little too much. It's been diluted. The numbered card is becoming worthless. It really is, man. There's just too much numbered stuff. So kind of hit the brakes on that a little bit from the manufacturers. I think it would do numbers for the hobby.
Yeah.
Bring down the prices of the boxes. The whole industry is just the prices need to come down. It's too much. Wemby, rookies, those prices didn't even make sense. And now he's injured. He's going to probably get injured again. He's an injury-prone type of guy, unfortunately. Yeah. That's just the way he's built. And he's great and everything, but come on, man. Those prices are silly, right? So I think I think in the next 5 years or so, you're going to see the prices kind of come down to reality a little bit.
I'm not sure, man, because I feel like this last 12 months, there was let me rephrase that. There was very limited rookie autographs in it. The rookie class.
For who?
For the NBA rookie class, because of the way that the contract was for essentially Fanatics took and signed all these rookies before, so they couldn't be in Panini products. So Wemby's the classic one, right?
Yeah,
and so we had that experience, and then really like the rookie class wasn't that good in this last year. So I think
it's
if ever hobby prices were going to come down to a point where you'd be like, I'll just casually go down to my local card shop, buy a box of Prism Hobby because it's so cheap. I think this is the year it was going to happen, but it didn't. I still think that demand was there for the boxes. And essentially at the end of the day, I don't believe that the prices are driven by the companies so much. It's more about the demand on the back end in terms
Sure.
of like
Yeah.
people flipping boxes and stuff. So
Well, what I'm seeing with the hobby health is these big time breakers. The secondary market for wax is a business in its own, and it's a real
100%.
thing. And
Yeah.
I mean, this stuff is getting it's essentially following the path of what drugs do. There's they're getting bought up, they're getting, and then they're getting
Cut down with
cut.
baby powder and
I've
redistributed.
never seen anything like it, man. I've never seen anything like it. And I see all the drama along with that, and that's why I love breaking and I love supporting good breakers
Yeah.
who run a good show and give an opportunity for you to take $150 and have an experience and have fun. I mean, that's where I think this hobby is going, online, digital. And I know that there's a lot of card shops out there trying to recreate, like card shops like Burbank just opened, right?
Yeah.
And they do you see what they did is they took it back a notch and they really focused on like these dollar boxes and making sure they have a lot of inventory. And unfortunately, not everybody can make a card shop like that. It's really hard. It takes a lot of capital to get that kind of operation going.
Look, I've actually personally been to Burbank, and that was the best card experience I've had in my life.
It's one of the best shops in the world.
And that was before they've just done their renovation and increased all the stuff they had before. But like allegedly, I've heard that they've got like millions and millions and millions of cards. Like they've got so many cards. That's why they did the expansion, to get more stuff on display. Like that was their problem. Yeah.
But unfortunately, the landscape of the reality, that's again illusion. This is 1 in a million can do what they do.
Yeah, definitely.
The average guy who has a card shop, I know a guy that, I mean, his story is so sad, man. He has an awesome card shop. Fanatics is the distributor, and they won't give him distribution. So he has to buy things at retail value and resell at a price that doesn't make sense. If you're not on board with Fanatics, and this, you talk about the health of the hobby. The reality is, if you are not in line with what Fanatics wants you to be, you are going to find yourself in a very difficult space.
I mean, I think this is it's a separate conversation altogether. It's like, how do you get distribution from Fanatics? But my sort of opinion is they need to look after the local card shops, because they're doing like the dirty work and the soldier work for these huge companies. Like that doesn't make sense to me at all.
They're going to card shops and saying, take our mags, take our penny sleeves, take our top loaders, which are all subpar quality. And they're telling them, take this stuff, and in the meantime, we'll work on your distribution, wink, wink. What the fuck, man?
Yeah.
What are you doing to me?
Yeah.
This is monopolization.
Well,
this is not fair practice.
Hang on a second. You touched on GTS earlier. That's the same business model that they've employed. And Fanatics...
They're kicking GTS out of the loop.
Fanatics, the first person that they removed was GTS. So that's ironic, really, isn't it?
Yeah, GTS just got kicked out. The beauty is that online sales are a real thing, and people who want our product find us online, and we're hitting a home run online. Like, I've never seen anything like it. My online sales are unreal. But when you talk about me going to card shops and saying, hey guys, would you like to carry our product in your store? I have card shops that want to, but they can't. That's the health of the hobby. We need more players in the field, not just one. How about that? Yeah.
Can we finish today's show on a positive? So you go to a lot of different card shows. Can you talk to me about some positive hobby health that you've seen? Yeah,
card shows. Card shows, as far as the people putting together a lot of these card shows, getting the signers there. When you have signers, when you have raffles going on, and I think a lot of card shows, I remember Burbank West Coast Card Show, they had like a floor where they had like, I think Tag put it on. You shoot hoops and then you can win stuff. And I think Fanatics Fest is really trying to do that. But the Fanatics Fest model, again, is kind of like the illusion model. But you could take from that and you can create local card shows to have more involvement with like sports and stuff like that, and getting the kids excited, getting involved. And so that type of stuff, like, I think is really cool. I make sure to drop our prices at card shows. I noticed a lot of vendors do the same thing. Like, I'm getting to know a lot of the West Coast card show vendors, not like so well, but enough to where, hey, what's up, man? Nice to see you again. This type of stuff. Like, I've been around the block like 2 years now. And so Northern California is unreal. I'll tell you that. You talk about like cool guys, Northern California. The hobby health is good. Like, people like collecting. Sports are fun. There's some good players involved, and we'll see. I just don't like the monopolization of it. That's all.
Yeah. Alrighty, man. Thank you so much for coming on today. That
Yeah,
was
Russell.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your support, your sponsorship to the podcast too. Like that was amazing. We're hoping to work with you again sometime in the future.
Yeah, we'll do another round. We'll do another round for sure.
And
I can do alternate rounds.
Great. And just thank you for coming on today and sharing your insights. And I really enjoyed hearing your perspectives about how you created this company and got it off the ground. So thank you so much, man. And all the best in the future.
Thank you. I'll see you in Australia.
Great. That sounds great, man. Good.
Yeah. See you there.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in this week. I really hope you enjoyed this episode and hearing from Comron's insights into the hobby and, of course, from his perspective in the card protection world. We will catch you guys on the live feed, on Instagram, on Twitter, and, of course, in the podcasting world. Have a great week. Catch you next time.